Hello everybody, Gisele Grenier here. In the video lesson for today, I'm going to be talking about using torn paper for your mini book of backgrounds. So let me get some stuff out of the way. For the paint, I'm going to be using Decor Media Fluid Acrylics, Naphtha Red Light, and Pearl Orange. We're going for a red-orange background on this. Now, instead of using the titanium white in the fluid acrylics, I opted to go for the Decor Chalky Gesso, which I transferred to a smaller tube. I've got my little artist trading card. You can use whatever you want, but the mini book of backgrounds for me is artist trading card size. It's just a piece of packaging cardstock, and I've put one layer of gesso on there, and I used the Decor Media gesso because it's nice and thick, and I can push that in there for quite good tooth, where the chalky gesso I have to use 2 or 3 layers. And let's see, there's going to be a few things I'm going to be showing you here. All right, so I've got this paper. I picked this up at the art store many years ago, and it's a type of fiber paper, and I'm not sure what's in it. I'm thinking in the back of my brain banana paper, but it's not. But it's some type of fiber paper. And you can see that it's got some nice fibers in there, all these different colors. I pulled out these 3, and I did one already. I did this a few years ago with stamps, and I kind of like that, but I wasn't fond of the color, so I'm going to make something new. I also have a bunch of stamps, just random stamps, doesn't matter, with my StazOn, but black StazOn ink because it's a solvent ink, and some stencils. So I've got the DecoArt Americana Scribble stencil, and I've got the Anti-Skinner Mixed Media Stencil Whirlpool. Now the stencils I'm using is nothing focal point. It's just strictly just stuff for the background. So it just shapes and stuff like that. Even this, I could have used a marker, but I know if I would have used a marker to make my lines, it would have been perfect. And you know, what it is what it is, so you can use whatever you want. We're going to need matte medium. I am all over the place today. So I've got the paint here. So I've got my Naphtha Red Light, Pearl Orange, and I've got my Chalky Gesso. And I want to work with this color here. Put that away. Now for the torn paper, the purpose for this particular background is not to create a piece of art, it's just to create a background to inspire you to create a piece of art later on down the road. And I want to focus on torn edges. So what we'll do is we'll stencil and stamp this first, and then we'll tear the paper just so we don't, so it looks a little bit more natural. But before we do that, let's paint this. So I put the gesso on there, and you can see just a little bit of stuff coming through, which is fine. Now you can choose to stamp first, then paint. If you're using like a solvent ink like this, it'll be permanent. That's fine. If you paint, then stamp, it's going to be very crisp. But if you stamp, then paint, it's going to be a little bit more diffused. I thought, let's try that way first. Let's stamp first, then paint. So I'm just going to, again, I'm just randomly putting this on there, just whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm just getting some stuff happening in the background. This is drying out. Just like that. That's it, nothing else. I'm going to cover that up. It's just to create something in the background, and if that ends up disappearing, we can stamp again on top of that. So let me just, now you don't want any white whatsoever. Oh, I don't know why I brought the gesso out, because I already gessoed the paper. You don't want any white whatsoever, because it'll make everything opaque. So I'm going to take these 2 colors, and I'm going to roughly use equal parts just to create a red-orange. I think that's actually a little bit dark. Let me grab a little bit of white. Yeah, no, see, I don't like the way that looks. So let's stick with this one. I'm going to put a bit more orange in there. Actually, why don't I, oh, let's do this. Oh boy, this is a brand new bottle. Let's see if that works. Here we go. Voila. Carefully pick that up. All right. Put that in there. Let me just quick, you know what? No, I'm not going to dry that with a heat gun because I still have other stuff to do. So ideally, when the torn paper goes on here, I want to try to create a background that worked with this. Well, I don't need to do the whole piece, so another card here just for sizing. And so there's two sides to it. There's the smooth side, then there's a texture side where the banana where the fibers are up high. That's what I'm going to use. This side here. What I'd like to try, let's see if I can stamp on this. This stamp pad is pretty dry. It's not bad. It's not bad. I think I'm gonna like this stencil better. Oh, I didn't bring paint out for the stencil. Oopsie. Let's go with, oh, I don't like using fluid acrylics with stencils. Well, let's see what happens. All right. So I'm gonna put this one on top. No water in the brush whatsoever. And imagining what's going to be torn, so let's go over here. It's actually not too bad. The problem with working with the fiber paper and the fluid acrylics, because they're fluid, the paper just absorbs everything. So I guess an alternative, what I could have done is put a layer of matte medium on the paper, but that would have taken so long to dry. That's kind of cute. And let's put this one right here. I'm not sure how much of this is actually going to be used. And actually, let's change that up. Let's take white. I have no idea. Yeah, that's not bad. Okay. Let's put that over there. And let's... Ooh, this one's a bugger to clean. All little Gumby pokey pieces. Yeah, I had to stop putting a piece of a Tupperware tub on the floor with water to catch all these. I caught Mia drinking the water. She knows better. She's getting strange in her old age. All right, let's put that over here. When Chaos was with us, oh my God, she was terrible with drinking the trying to drink the water. That's still wet. Let me dry that. That by itself, just the way it is, would make it a really cute little background. Just the way it is. So now for this one here. Now you can choose how you want to tear this. You can tear it by hand. So you can tear it like this. But the problem is with those fibers, you're not going to get a clean cut. I don't like clean cuts, but I'm just going to show you this way on one side. Okay, so you're going to get all these really neat fibers. Now, can you imagine if this was actual paper in a journal to get all this beautiful stuff going on here? The other thing that we can do, oh, darn. Okay, I don't know where they are, my rulers. I'm going to use, this is a DecoArt texture tool. So I'm going to wet the paper over here. And then halfway through, we'll put this right here. Actually, I'm going to do it the other way because it's too short. No, I think I'm going to have to flip it. Oopsie. There we go. So you can do that. You'll get, see, I went too far here, but that's okay. Now you can even use these parts here for other stuff. You can put them on edges like this. It's up to you. So that's too big. So let me do another one. Let me actually dip this in water and see what I get. Or we can use, could we use this side? What would happen if we use that? Well, it doesn't look perfect, but that's even better. That's even better. Oops, that cut short. So you can do whatever. Oh, that's nice. I like that. So you can do that. You can do up a little higher, but I'm liking that. So I think what I want to do is I'm going to turn around. I want to use the white part there. But I want to tear this part here so it's more organic. So it doesn't look like that hard edge. Yeah, that's nice. What would happen if we painted the underneath white? I wonder if it would show... Would it show more contrast? Let's try that. I need a paper towel. Oopsie, that's the red brush. Let's grab this. What if you painted underneath? I didn't have anything lighter, so I had to stick with this particular piece of fiber paper. But I want to really pop the colors. Let's see what that gives us. Ugh. I say ugh now, but you know, who knows? It might look a little bit better. I don't like that at all because the white's coming through. So what if we painted this white? I just put my brush in the water. Oh my goodness. So what about if I just put a little bit of white here? Yeah, it does. It boosts the color a little bit. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to soften the edge. So it's a little bit more natural. Like that. Yeah. I'm going to dry that. And now I'm going to get matte medium. I have got to start cleaning my brushes. One of the challenges that I have, and you let me know, you guys, how many brushes do you go through for a project? I can't stand cleaning brushes, but I go through so many. I hate cleaning brushes, so I end up using more because I don't want to keep cleaning the brushes while I'm working. But in doing that, I end up having more brushes to clean in the long run. Comment below, let me know. Like, do you guys use a lot of brushes when you're painting? Where did that... Tweezers, there they are. I want to trim this one down a bit. Or I may not need to. It's almost invisible. Just have a little bit of... I'm not a fan of the color though. I'm not a fan of red and oranges in the first place. So... see, if I would have used this one... See, the edges are on the wrong side. But if I used this one... What if I did... Yeah, let's overlap that one and see. So this one is just the same stamp, it's just stamping, but the paper is much lighter. The fiber paper is much lighter. What side are we using? This side. Rice paper is nice to use if you can find it. I had to go to Toronto to get a lot of my rice paper. This is nice. There we go. So you can see just the part of the butterfly. And as soon as you put the matte medium on there, it becomes slightly transparent. And I'll just actually wrap this around. There's a place in Toronto. I don't know if they're still there or if they survived the pandemic. They were a beautiful paper store. There we go. So it's just subtle in the background. I love that. And then you just basically choose, you can choose papers that are higher in contrast. I mean, you can overlap other papers as well. You can choose rice paper, you can choose fiber paper. Like, there's so many different types of paper out there, but when this dries, you're going to be able to see a lot more of this. And then what to do is, if you really want to create that extra boost of contrast, is you can put a little bit of gesso on this and then stamp again, and then just add a layer of color. I'm not going to, because my whole thing was stamping on this fiber paper and using that as a background. And then later on down the road, as I'm flipping through the backgrounds to create a piece of art, whatever jumps out at me, that's what I'll use. And this one here, I'm thinking I'm going to use this one for like a romantic card. I'm thinking that. And yeah, so that's it. Simple, easy peasy. I am going to do a few other videos using different techniques for this stuff, using book paper, tinting it to make it look vintage, really, really old, using tiny text, big text, all that stuff. So stick around and join me in those videos, just to give you some jump off points to create your own book of backgrounds to inspire you to make art on the fly. Alrighty, so I hope that you enjoyed this little background. Let me know what you think. And until I see you next time, stay inspired.